Suicide. Kill my vibe. You always wanna be the killer type. Well, I'm just trying to have some fun tonight. I guess we're gonna have to break the stride. But break the stride. Cause you a killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? You hypnotize. You put those glasses on, you get me high. Make me forget everything from tonight. We'll end up wanted for a homicide. Homicide. Tell me lies, just to get me to go and break the ice. You said you wanna have some fun tonight. I guess we're gonna have to break the stride. But break the stride. Cause you a killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? Cause you're a killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? You're a killer.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of the Cypher. We've been at this for 52 weeks. And finally, after all this time, we said Ant's got to get the fuck out of here. Kicked him off the show.
He's done.
Sheridan been trying to quit for mad long. I wouldn't let Sheridan quit, but we just kicked Ant out of here. How you doing, Sheridan?
I'm doing great. It's been a good week. I'm finally really getting some stuff done. I can kind of make some announcements here pretty soon, probably later in the episode. It's been a good week. I have lots of cool stuff going on. I've started to make some friends out here finally. It's been a pretty lonely month, so that's good. And you know, I'm just really excited for these coming months. I feel like, you know, people are getting vaccinated, stuff's opening up, and I feel like things are gonna start to get to the new normal. I don't think it's gonna quite go back to how things were before the pandemic, but I think we're gonna find a new normal that's sufficient.
I agree. I think that things are definitely getting back to a much more comfortable place overall in the country. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Glad to hear that things seem to be getting better out there, especially where you're at, right? Because California was a place that really locked down like crazy. So
and now, so I just read an article. California has now the lowest COVID rate of any states in the continental U.S. So that doesn't count Alaska and Hawaii, but any states in the continental U.S., California now has the lowest COVID rate.
Nice.
It's just kind of crazy. Like when I read that, I was like, no way, we were like the most when it started.
And just to be clear, we didn't really kick Anthony off. He's not feeling well today. Couldn't make the show. Totally understandable. He was actually in Vegas last week. Last week I was getting a wisdom tooth pulled, but I figured we should get back to things this week. So we did keep it pushing. I think he'll be in the comments with us though, chatting along as we get into some of the conversation and shit like that. So yeah, I'm hopefully Ant is doing better by next week. He should be. I imagine we'll be back to the normal. And it's hilarious that he's not here and I'm experiencing like the most technical difficulties I have in a hot minute. So
yeah.
Nah, Ant don't got COVID. Ant don't got COVID. He just...
We don't know yet.
He got vaccinated. He's good. He's clear. So.
Oh, I forgot Ant got vaccinated.
Yeah, he's leading the way. Y'all should follow his path, right?
I need that.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know. It's complicated here in South Dakota. But in terms of what I got going on, I'll be graduating college next Saturday. So I've been doing a lot of like final stuff, finalizing some projects, putting shit together. It's been busy as hell, honestly, but it's exciting because a lot of cool stuff is starting to come together and come to fruition. And like I'm able to put together a full business plan for Upstate Aesthetic, present it in front of the Chamber of Commerce in my city, and like just get feedback on some of my ideas on how to build Upstate Aesthetic into being much more than what it is now, but also being a platform that still very much enables artists to generate an income and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool, exciting shit going on. Yeah, Team Melly's about to take Ant's place. It's a wrap. Back on some of my ideas.
So.
But let's go ahead and talk about some new local music. We got new Chirp coming soon. Did you see that he announced, I think, a track list, right? Yeah, he did announce a track list featuring Jim Jones.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for that. I've been like when Ant showed me El Capo, I think it came out in 2019. I had known Jim Jones before that from like back in the day, Dipset, all that. But when when I heard El Capo, I was like, yo, this is one of the only old heads, and surprisingly to me, just because I guess I didn't really know how good Jim Jones was back in the day, even though I had heard him. Surprisingly to me, he was one of the only old heads that was able to continue with his style, but also step into the new school and stay relevant and stay making like timeless music. And there are still some old heads doing that, obviously. Like Jay-Z and other people like that, but Jay-Z's goated. That's a different conversation.
Right.
Jim Jones is somebody that's much less known, that's still able to, keep a very high level of not only like rapping ability, and like relativity, but like also just being like making really good music.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just good rapping; it's good music, which is like important to me for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't like that leads to it being a feature on Chirp's thing. Like that's just an incredible feature to get, you know what I mean? Like especially cuz you would expect it's not going to be some bullshit. So that's really interesting. We open the show with Jake Daniels' new track Killer, which is already performing really really well on YouTube and other streaming services, as has come to be expected with what Jake does now, cuz he's got a plan with that shit, it seems. So, and it seems to work out. When you have a calculated plan, when you're reaching out to platforms early, multiple platforms early, not relying on just one to cover you, but multiple, it does pay its dividends. And we've seen that work for Jake, MBK Richie, even Process towards the end of last year. All of those guys in DIM have really made it work for them the more that they reach out to more than just one platform. And it might sound strange for me to say as I run Upstate Aesthetic, when I was busy this whole semester, it was really hard to cover what everybody has going. Once the semester's over, once I graduate, it's going to like flip a switch and stuff is going to get covered a lot more frequently. But if you were relying just on me and Upstate Aesthetic, I probably let you down. That's my bad. I mean, that's not my bad because you should rely on other people, but yeah, my bad. But Jake has done a great job promoting that track, so I'm not surprised. I was listening to it the other day. I put it on. My daughter's like, "Is this your song?" And I thought she meant like over her music, so I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Are you singing it?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "Well, he's a good singer." And I was like, "Yeah, he is. He's a good singer."
He's a good singer. Yeah, I mean, he's the type of person that I can show people that I meet that aren't local, and they'll like enjoy the music and not even if I didn't tell them he was local, they wouldn't think he was because. That's the quality that he's at.
Well, and my little brother out here, he showed his girlfriend a couple of Jake's tracks and immediately connected. So, like, Jake's tracks can hit in the Midwest with a crowd that does not really listen to the typical upstate music, and that's really, really smart. And I've talked to a couple other artists like that. I talked to Jerk, actually, yesterday. Like, try and market some of your stuff to the Midwest. I promise you might see a little bit more success with what you're doing if you market it to a different demographic. What are you making that face for?
Verified.
He's got the blue check, bro. He's official now.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's just I just hadn't seen it yet.
Hey, there it is. It's official. So yeah, shout out to Jake.
He deserves it. He's got enough articles now and everything. He should be verified on everything. If he's not,
that's a fact.
Instagram, fucking Twitter, all that. That's dope. Congrats, right, bro. That was recent. Or if I just noticed, then
yeah, congrats. He's been banned, so he don't know. He don't know what's going on. Sig Roy dropped a new track titled These Dreams Aren't Lucid. We'll be listening to that in a little bit. Stove God Cooks dropped a track titled Dope featuring French Montana. Sharax dropped a new video titled ASMR. O3 Costa dropped his album Hard on Safety. You get a chance to listen to any of that?
I listened to the Stove God song, and then what was the other song? Obviously I listened to the Jake song. But I haven't listened to the other songs yet.
You should check out some of O3 Costa's album. I like it. I like some of it especially, but it's pretty good. It's pretty well put together. He did some work with T Melly. T Melly
Word.
did some mixing on there, so I like to see that. I like to see that collaboration from Upstate, and
Yeah.
maybe they knew each other prior, but it's cool to see regardless. Like the more collaboration you see between producers and artists and stuff like that in the area, I think the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, I think I've correct. I mean, obviously you don't know, but I think Costa and Team Ellie are pretty close. But I'm not.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, well, and if they are, that makes sense to work together. So I liked it. I liked the project that he put together, and then Ty Vegas just dropped a new video titled "Like That." All of this information coming from 607 Sound, so shout out to them. Like I said, if you guys need coverage from another platform, they do just as good a job at making sure they're keeping up to date with everything that's dropping. They put me onto a lot of stuff that's coming out. Like I said, I've been busy with college, so shout out to
Speaking
them.
of Team Ellie, did you see he just hit 50K
I
on
did.
tour?
I did, and like I said, I think Jake said, it's just gonna keep growing, and it's not surprising because like seeing what the work that Melly's put in, those two really make a lot of sense, right? Because they can produce a lot of their stuff and work together a lot. So
Costa, my youngest son.
they can keep track of their own sound, right? Like they can record all day, every day. So not surprised. And then did you get a chance to listen to that Conway album? That seems like something you might have checked out, and I didn't, but.
So I've been saving it. I've heard a couple of the tracks. I heard the J Skis tracks because, as I said, my aunt went to high school with him, so now I'm just a little like extra interested in his tracks. But I wanted to save the whole album until I could really sit down and like listen to it alone, have no other distractions. Like I said, I've been super like focused on trying to work on my own music and my own release stuff. So like I've been listening to lots of music, but I've saved like the like 2 or 3 albums I really want to put my ears on fully, like 100% for later this week.
Yeah, fair enough. I just haven't had the time to check it out, to be totally honest. I haven't listened to a whole lot of new music at all. If you're tuned in the comments and have like any new music that you suggest we check out, or maybe something that slipped my mind that has come out recently, I haven't caught a lot of new stuff. I don't think there's been a lot of new stuff dropping either, so that's kind of a combination, I feel like. But what have you been listening to, Sherry? You've been listening to some stuff.
So as for like anything or like hip hop.
Hip hop, because the
All right.
viewers don't want to hear about you listening
All
to
right.
the new Taylor
All right.
Swift.
Nah. I've been listening to that new Slime Language too. You know, there's a lot of, mid songs on that because it's like fucking 30 songs on the deluxe. But there's some bangers. The Drake song's really good. I like a couple other them. Chevy Woods dropped an album. It's alright. Vinny Paz is kind of like a spitter I hadn't really heard of before. He had a lot of like really kind of big name features I did know, so I checked out his album. There was it wasn't totally my style of rap, but it was like for people who really like guys who were just spitting nonstop. He obviously like wasn't one of the best I've heard, but it was just hard bars after hard bars the entire album. So people who are into that will definitely like that. And then Say a Prayer by Know It All, another rapper I hadn't heard of before. Another album, dude was just kind of spitting the whole time. Really good. Smoke DZA dropped the album, pretty good. Or no, he hasn't dropped the album yet. He dropped a single from the album that was pretty good. And Little Sims also dropped a single from her new album, which I'm really excited for, Introvert. The video was so fucking cool. She's just continuing to show like more creativeness over the last couple of years I've been into her. I think this album is what's really kind of going to break her into the industry because she's shown off some crazy freestyles. She can sing, and she's really unique. She has her own style, which is really, I think she's, anyone who wants to hear a new female rapper, or if they don't, still go listen to Little Sims because she's dope.
I have to check her out because I'm not too up to date on especially the female rappers that are coming out. I'm slow to a lot of shit nowadays, honestly. I just put myself on to Polo G in terms of actually checking out some of his older music after really starting to like a couple of tracks I've heard from his recently. So I'm late to the game more often than not. Let's talk about Tory Lanez, your boy. He's been speaking out on the vaccine, talking down on influencers, saying that people don't got to listen to influencers and get the vaccine, saying it's only going to last 6 months. So, what are you thinking?
Here's what I think. I don't think anyone should listen to anyone other than doctors. I don't think people should listen to Tory Lanez. I don't think people should listen to influencers. I don't think people should listen to Joe Rogan. I don't think people should listen to any of those people when it comes to medical issues. When it comes to medical issues, you should listen to doctors who have studied in that field for years and years and are experts in their area. That's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's different out here, man. The vaccine and all that shit. Like, I definitely don't agree with what Tory Lanez is saying. I recognize a need and that there should be people getting the vaccine and stuff like that. It becomes very complicated, I think. And out here it's weird as hell.
I'm not vaccinated.
Yeah. And well, it's like a matter of making the time, I guess. The matter of making the time, going to do it, like, and I don't know. I understand 100% why people do it, especially in areas like New York. Out here, it's just never been that prevalent. Like, even when it blew up out here, it didn't blow up to the numbers it was in other places, because out here, people are so already away from each other, as opposed to in New York, you're always, like, next to somebody. You know what I mean? That's the easiest way to explain it. So
the reason I'm really trying to get vaccinated at some point is because, one, I want to travel to different countries, and I think that's probably going to be required to travel to different countries is to be vaccinated.
Right.
And two, I don't know what the situation with performing live is going to be. I don't think they're going to be able to, tell like the biggest name artists who don't want to get vaccinated that they can't come and perform. But venues will probably be able to tell me, hey, if you're not vaccinated, you're not coming. Yeah. I just think that it would be smart for me to just be vaccinated. I'm thinking about maybe taking a trip to Iceland this summer, looking at possibly maybe doing some shows.
That seems on brand for you.
Yeah.
Iceland seems good.
It would be fun. But yeah, I'm looking at some different options and cool stuff I could be doing over the summer, and I don't really want to be held back at all. As much as I'm not like excited to get the vaccine, I'm not rushing to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are people who should be, and I think that it's probably important that most everyone does get it at some point.
Well, and that's where I'm at. Once I start thinking about traveling, because I do want to get out of South Dakota now that I can. It just is that's the responsible thing to do, right? Even if it's not necessarily required, that's where it becomes responsible for someone like me, where it's definitely different. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's my biggest thing. I'm trying to go to concerts. I'm trying to go to like wrestling shows and stuff like that I typically do. So the only way to do that I feel comfortable with is by getting vaccinated. So that's where it'll come for me. I think Tory Lanez is an idiot regardless, but. Yeah, it's funny that this is how he makes the news again. Continuing on the discussion of touring and stuff. Oh, go ahead.
One more thing I want to say. He's dropped. Let's just say this. He's dropped 3 albums since the Megan fucking thing, and he's never been fucking less relevant. He's done.
Grasping for straws. I think he's definitely done too. Because regardless of the content, I think just not enough people heard it because not enough people wanted to hear it. You know what I mean?
I haven't even listened to the most recent one he dropped, or I think even the one before that. But from what I've heard, it's really not bad music. It's just every time I go to even think about it, I'm just I've said this. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but I don't like how he's handled this in a lot of ways, and. Every time I go there, I'm like, right. And then I listen to something else. I don't know. I even at the beginning I was more optimistic, and I was like, even if he is shitty, I still listen to shitty people who make music because that's the standard I draw. But honestly, I don't find myself going back to listen to Tory Lanez at all anymore.
Yeah, I think the content is okay, but it's just not anything mind blowing to make people forget about it. So and it's crazy because he was someone that was right on that borderline of becoming a massive star. I feel like so. Like I was saying, artists going back on tour. Let's talk about MGK. He apparently performed in Jacksonville last week. He's now announced a full-length tour. Does this give you optimism as an artist? Or there's a lot of people on the side of things where they're like, fuck him. This is so stupid. How could you do this?
I think this is good. people are getting vaccinated. I think there's going to be a requirement for people who are or if there's not, there should be a requirement for people who are going to shows to be vaccinated. Um, I think if this is done the right way, this is what should be happening. I think it's important, not only for like mental health and for like just people to be getting outside again, but also for our economy, not just for, you know, MGK making money, but just in general, it's good to get money moving again. Um, it's I think it's all around a good thing. If this was, you know, 3 months ago and we were still very early on the vaccine and this stuff was happening, I would say this is too early.
Right.
But I think we're kind of going at kind of the right pace at this point. Especially like I know that it's obvious like people are booking shows earlier in states that have lower mask laws, like just less COVID laws in general, which I don't love. But I'm hoping that the events themselves will take care of the precautions well enough.
Yeah.
No, I could be wrong. Maybe they won't, and maybe it'll be a total shit show, and COVID numbers will go crazy again. And
That's the fear, right? That's what people think like could be the biggest negative, obviously, and hopefully that's not the case. And if you make being vaccinated a requirement, then I guess. But people are paying for tickets, they're buying tickets, like they'll have an argument to get in without being vaccinated. Like it's very hard to confirm that upon
like big festivals, bro, especially like
I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying from like a logistics standpoint, it seems very difficult to do.
I think they're gonna make you submit vaccination forms. I seriously do.
And people will just end up feeling like, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Dude, there are enough vaccinated people that are gonna be able to go, and and it's gonna make all the non-vaccinated people be like, shit,
I should get vaccinated so I could
be
go.
like, oh, I've lost my rights, and then eventually they're just gonna be like, damn, I guess I just have to get vaccinated because otherwise.
I think it'll have to go to shit first. Like I think they'll let it be where they'll have a mixture of vaccinated and non-vaccinated people being able to attend events, and then if it goes to shit, they'll make it like an actual requirement. But I think right now they're just kind of letting everybody be guinea pigs and see what happens. But you going to see MGK?
I think he's
touring. You're not gonna go see the MGK live on tour.
I mean, if someone gave me tickets, I would go. I wouldn't spend $1 on him though.
I might go. He's playing in Red Rocks in Denver. I love Red Rocks. So.
I saw you comment on the post about Red Rocks, and I love Red Rocks, so I wouldn't blame you for that.
Yeah, it's easy to get excited about Red Rocks. So
yeah, I saw the Avett Brothers at Red Rocks, and that shit was amazing.
I saw a Chance at Red Rocks, and that was incredible. And I was like within the front 3 rows. It was my brother's first concert experience, and cool. It was right after his 3rd album came out, so he was still doing all right.
I saw Chance for the first time after he had dropped Acid Rap. It was Mac Miller's Space Migration Tour.
Yeah, I seen that same tour.
After he had dropped Watching Movies with the Sound Off, and so the fucking lineup was insane. It was Vince Staples, like 100 people in the crowd. Then it was Chance the Rapper, probably like 300 people in the crowd. Then the internet came on.
Where did you go and see it at?
This was Buffalo Outer Harbor.
Okay, I went to the one in Poughkeepsie, I think. Okay. But the same show, and it's such an incredible lineup. Looking at it now.
Did Taco do a DJ set after the internet was on?
I can't remember, bro.
All I remember is Taco just played like a bunch of like top 40 songs and did like a DJ set, but didn't actually DJ and just danced around the whole time. It was really fucking funny. And then Odd Future came on. Fucking. I was in like the front. This was general admission, lawn standing basically, and I was at the bar basically, like right in front of them.
Right.
Ty the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, Frank Ocean, like Damo, Genesis, all the guys, like everybody.
Mac didn't have all that at my show, that's for sure. There was no Tyler at my show.
And then Mac was the headliner, obviously, and that was just that's still like. Dude played the guitar behind his head. Like that was one of the craziest shows like I've ever been to.
Yeah, and what a lineup! You look at it from this many years by, right? Like, because I wasn't even a huge diehard Chance fan. That made me the diehard Chance fan that I became because of how incredible he did.
Yeah, that was when I liked a couple Chance songs a lot, and I ended up falling in love. And funny enough, I saw him again after Coloring Book. He performed at Darien Lake. It was awful. It was terrible. No, like no kid. Like he literally, and I guess I felt bad, but like he started crying and like apologized and said
Oh
he was,
yeah, I think you told
yeah,
us
like
about this before.
yeah, he's like going through some shit, and like I feel that for sure, but like I drove
Yeah, that's rough.
paid like all this money for like him to perform really shitty, and it wasn't even just that. There was no one who opened for him, and he didn't even like he did like a lot of like just mid songs, just like
Right.
I don't know. He didn't do like some of the like really classic ones that you would think that he was gonna do at a concert, you know?
That's a perfect segue for our next topic about an artist that you fell in love with and then did a shitty performance recently. Tekashi 69 been performing in America again. Did a show last week. He dove into the crowd with all his jewelry on. He almost lost it. It fell off. He stopped the show. How do you feel as like a fan attending that show where he stops the whole show just because the dumbass jumped in the crowd and his chain fell off?
But the question is, how long did the show really go?
He's only got like 5, 6 songs people want to hear anyway, so maybe 10. All right, he's got a whole set, bro. I guess.
Bro, all I know is like the fact that he even performed, I feel like is kind of crazy.
Nah. He, like I said, it was mad short notice. Nobody knew what was going on, so anyone who would have been able to catch him lacking or anything.
I did not expect him to be performing anytime soon. Honestly.
This almost makes the most sense to me, like straight off of COVID, when some people are still inside, some people are outside. It's like the perfect time to try and get the bag while you're still somewhat relevant.
Like every couple of months, he'll just pop up and perform somewhere without telling anyone, and then like.
Yeah, and the thing is, the performance he's doing next is in Miami for Triller Fest. Like, and Triller just made like $65 million off of Jake Paul, so I'm sure he's able to secure a bag off of that. Probably lines himself up a performance at the next Jake Paul. Maybe he's doing Jake Paul's theme song for the next fight.
He's trying to crowd surf. That is, I was
he's
like,
gonna get stabbed doing that. Watch.
Oh yeah, I was like, if this dude goes to concerts, he better have some bulletproof glass on the stage, bro. Like
he's real. He's showing. That's why he's your guy, because he's legit.
No, he is bugging. He is not my guy.
This definitely helps him though. If he's able to get around and start performing somewhat consistently, or even just start moving like a regular person again, like he's going to a whole ass festival. There's got to be other artists involved in this show and he's probably just going to be secluded in his own area.
He's not going to press somebody, bro. He's not.
There's going to be drama from it for sure.
He's going to get his whole security team around him in a circle. He's going to get his phone up like this, and he's going to walk up and start talking shit to someone, and no one's going to be able to touch him, and it's going to go viral because the person's going to argue back with him. And
the crazy thing about his story is it's somehow still going on, but no matter what has been going on, you still know that the end of the story is probably going to be something fucking tragic. If he makes it another 10 years, though, you never know.
I hope not. I really don't want.
I don't hope bad on him. I just feel like as a sensible human being, there's no other way to think it could go.
I see people who are like, I hope he dies. I hope people kill him, and I'm just like, I could never. Like, that is not the energy I could hold towards someone who isn't like.
Who didn't directly affect me, at the very least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I could feel like that about like, I don't know, like the Orange Man. You know what I mean? But like, or like other people that have like literally like raped people or like killed people or shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like, I don't wish death upon Tekashi. I think he's a really shitty person, and I don't think he deserves to be in the spotlight anymore. But people continue to put him in the spotlight. And
people like you, bro. It's people like you.
I was a huge fan. I still like his music, but like
the whites, bro.
And I don't really care about snitching. I'll be honest. I do not care. When it comes to disrespecting dead people, that is like a very fine line for me, and I draw that line with other artists too.
He's a garbage human being at the end of the day. Like, when you really get down to it, you can't, like, he does some shit that you can think is like cool or entertaining or whatever, but he's still a garbage human being. That's what I'm saying. He makes the most sense. He should definitely be doing Jake Paul's theme music.
Entertaining anymore. When he started saying like rest in piss King Von, that is like. And I was not even a King Von fan like that.
No, it's just like a matter of being a scumbag. You know what I mean?
That shit makes me sick, bro.
Okay.
And King Von was the same way, though. Like,
yeah,
he would
say that shit.
But like, that shit makes me sick either way, bro.
Mm-hmm. He just plays the bad guy role really well, and he wants to, so that's what gets him attention. So it works for him. Let's talk somewhat similar, related, kind of, I guess. This DMX situation. I don't know if you heard about it. During his memorial, he had one of his friends, and this was a friend of like 20 years, I guess. So someone that really felt like they should be involved in this service was not involved, or from by the sounds of what he said, it sounded like they cut him from the service, so he was supposed to be part of it, and then no longer had time for it. So he just jumps on stage. And then is immediately like, and the pastor took care of it really well. Like the way that this was handled was actually done really well with him being able to leave in a sensible way, and he was sensible about it too. By the time like the pastor's like, "Yo, you're in my house. This is like you can't be doing this shit," basically, and he was like, "All right," but it was still like a crazy moment. What do you think about this?
I haven't seen it, and honestly, I had only when you sent me the overview of what we're going over. That was the first time I had seen it or heard about it. I don't know, bro. Like that shit is crazy. I don't know the situation. I know if my friend of 20 years died and I wasn't allowed to be involved, like my close friend, and I wasn't allowed to be involved. I don't know if I would start a scene like in that fashion. I don't know what I would do though.
Yeah.
Because, like that is
When you
I don't
don't know
know.
the relationship between them and stuff, but you know there's 20 years, like that's a long time. So
Acquaintance for 20 years? Are they like
Yeah.
they hung out every once in a while every 20 years, or like they talk regularly, hung out all the time? Like it's just hard to know really what that situation is.
Right.
But I know like if like one of my best friends that I've grown up with and lived with my whole life and they were cut out of my shit, I would be sick. I would haunt whoever cut them the fuck out.
Right.
And
Especially when it's probably a matter of like time, because I think they televise some of the memorial and stuff like that. So you're cut out, maybe not even for reasons that are you're not important enough, but you just don't have enough time because they're televising it. Like if this were a regular funeral, they would definitely have had time for him, type of thing. So I can understand it. It's definitely a weird thing though.
I ain't trying to have. I know I'm not trying to have a funeral when I die. I do
I
not
don't
want
know.
to.
I don't know if you're gonna have much of a say at that point. I mean, you have a little bit of a say, but you'll be gone. So,
Nah, I'll just tell. I want to have like a party.
oh, all right.
I'm
Sounds
gonna just
good.
write that shit out like
I
right
am.
now. Y'all know.
Let them know. There you
If
go.
I die, it's a party.
Let's talk about Blueface, your boy. Nah, this is more my boy. This
This
was
is
my boy.
definitely not my boy now. This is some serious shit.
I don't think it's that serious. Blueface
I
is catching some heat for his new blue. I don't even remember what the name of the series is, but his Bad Girls Club, I think it was. He's got a bunch of people mad at him because he's got girls living on bunk beds, getting tattoos for him.
Bro,
It's the Bad
if
Girls
he's
Club,
telling
bro.
If he's telling girls they have to leave the house unless they get this tattoo, and he is making them sleep on bunk bed, like
They
bro,
signed.
this
It's a
is-
reality show, bro. They signed
Yeah,
up. It's a competition.
It's called behavior and it's grooming women.
Okay. I mean, you're right. You're right.
It's grooming. Even
How
if-
old are they though? Like,
take away the cult behavior, it is grooming women.
but they signed up for this shit, and they're all over 18.
But
They're
that's
all
like-
like
I just feel like that is.
I don't. I guess I don't know how old any of these women are. So that is one point of perspective. Like, but if they're, my assumption and hope will be like they're 22, 23, 24, old enough to be smart enough to know like, hey, this shit is stupid. Yes, you could still
young,
groom.
bro.
Yeah,
That's still
I
young.
understand, but I'm looking at it from a little bit of a different perspective. The bunk bed thing.
Bro,
He said the girls that lived on America's Next Top Model slept in bunk beds.
Yeah, and I don't like that shit either.
I mean,
I never liked that show. I always thought that show enforced some fucking wild body images and shit. I don't know, bro. I guess I'm just less. At first, when I heard about this, I was like, this could be something cool.
you didn't even watch it. Me and Ant watched like 5-6 episodes of this shit
Yeah, well,
on
bro,
YouTube.
Oh, I was gonna say.
No, we didn't pay for that shit. We got it on YouTube.
I was gonna say I wasn't gonna subscribe to no OnlyFans, but
Wow, dude, support the culture, bro. It's fucked up.
I'll subscribe. I've subscribed to women's OnlyFans.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying. Ain't
I'm
nothing
just
wrong
not
with.
a famous man's OnlyFans that's already rich.
Why? He's putting
Because
out content. He's putting out good content.
I'm gonna subscribe to what OnlyFans is gonna be someone that's like struggling to like actually make money. It's like, oh, am I gonna go to
So
a
once
chain?
they made it at a certain
Am I
level,
gonna
like
go
when
to
they
a
hit a
chain
certain number of
restaurant?
subscribers, you
Am I
unsubscribe.
gonna go to Applebee's? You know what I mean? Or not at Applebee's. Am I gonna go to Applebee's? I'm gonna go to a small business.
I wouldn't go to Applebee's, that's for sure.
I know you wouldn't, and that's why I made the connection.
Yep. Now, I mean, I 100% understand people's issue with this, and I haven't looked into it enough or seen like this new season. What I saw in the last season, it just looked like women being like extra ratchet for a series. He's talking about how he doesn't live in the house. They're just kind of doing all this extra shit. It seems like a lot of what we've seen maybe on VH1 of like Flava Flav's love show and stuff like that. Not
Yeah,
that shit was ever.
shows don't exist anymore.
Yeah, well, and he took it to another level, right? Like he made it like a rated R version of this shit.
Yeah,
I just for what I saw was entertaining, and these women are signing up for it, like they're getting themselves into it. If you're fucking letting somebody tell you got to get a tattoo on your face or you got to go home, you're dumb as shit.
But that's a sickness, bro. Like that's what I feel like. I feel like that
Dumb
is
is not a sickness.
Mm,
Sometimes it's a result of sickness.
Ignorance is a disease for sure.
Could be. I mean, I feel.
I've
seen some really dumb people, but
dumb, but like being able, like, I feel like fooling stupid people doesn't make it any more okay. Like just because you can fool stupid people, doesn't like make it like ethical.
You're right. I'm not. Well, and that's I guess the point is I don't really think that I didn't really hold Blueface to be an ethical human being. So when it came down to this,
I just hope, I don't know. I've heard some other pretty bad shit about him too, just from like insiders who knew him before he was famous. I'm not gonna like air that out because I don't know how true it is, but I've just heard that he is not a good person in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, and I mean this is a good example of that. I don't know. It's very interesting to see someone in the industry try and make money off of something that's very different. The way he addressed it, to me, like, it just made me laugh. I was like, you don't give a fuck about what people are saying. You're just trying to sweep it under the rug. And, yeah, I mean, I get what he's doing. I get where he probably got the idea of this type of shit from, but it don't really work. I mean, the only reason it works is because it's on OnlyFans, right? Like, this would never work on any network. It would never work on YouTube. It would never work on Twitch. Like, it would only.
We originally said, if this goes really well, maybe one of these places will pick it up. But we didn't realize how. We all should have realized
how, like, next level he would take the shit.
How next level he was gonna take it with no, like, when he's just like. It's different when it's like he is like the face of it, but it's someone else like planning the show and like directing the show. But when it's just like Blueface's fucking convoluted fucking mind, like taking all this shit and like just creating this show, it's gonna be some fucking weird shit, and I should have known. I'm definitely when I read about that, it pissed me off for sure. And again, this is another artist I was a fan of.
This is more, and like, because my biggest issue with it, for me personally, is like the tattoo thing. But at the same time, I can't really get over the fact that you just got to be next level stupid to let somebody tell you have to tattoo your face.
I agree though, but again, that just brings me back to that. Just because they're stupid, that doesn't make it okay.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying,
like,
I separate the blame a little bit. I'm like, yeah, Blueface, that's fucked up, but these girls are dumb, so. I don't know. And I haven't seen, like, maybe it's not even face tats. Maybe the tattoo is not as extreme as we thought. I have no fucking clue. So I should look into it a little bit more before I give too much of a thought on it. And I'm also trying to play a little bit more of devil's advocate. I wouldn't want anybody I know or care about, like, involved in some shit like this. So I get where people's perspective of it being a very negative thing comes from. I just also lay a lot of credence to people have a choice to do this shit. And if they're dumb enough to do it, it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. Let's talk about, do cosigns matter in music? This stems from the idea of Coi Leray. And the reason I bring this up is I saw an article talking about how Drake had co-signed Coi Leray. And that was the first instant where I was like, I should probably check this girl out. Like, I've heard her name a lot. We've talked about her actually probably on the podcast at least once, maybe twice. And it wasn't until I saw Drake co-signs Coi Leray that I was like, I should check her out. And I, like, to that extent.
Like that answers your question.
But is it only a guy like Drake? Because I don't feel like many other people would be attached to a name where I'd be like, okay.
Nah, if you're a diehard fan of Denzel Curry and Denzel Curry tells you to listen to an artist, they're gonna listen to that artist probably. Um, I feel like the cosign it definitely matters how popular you are to cosign an artist,
Right.
but you don't have to be as popular as Drake.
But that Drake cosign gets people to like a whole nother level,
That's
typically,
yeah,
right? Like,
that's like okay, um, that's like the tier S cosign. You know what I mean? Like you talk about like you bring it down to like a Denzel Curry cosign, that might be like a tier B cosign. You know what I
right.
mean?
And
Uh,
Nolan says that she's legit before Drake and that she's heat and real good. And I believe that. I believe that. It's just like, and I've heard it before too. It was just a matter of Drake saying it. I was like, well, I guess I should probably wake up because this dude's about to either release a track with her or something. So,
I don't. I like some of her music, but she beef with Rico Nasty, so I'm Team Rico. You
damn,
know,
that's crazy. I'm team nobody in this battle because I've heard a little bit of Rico Nasty, but not a whole
I'm
lot.
I'm a Rico stan. So when you beef with Rico, it's kind of similar to when you beef with Nicki. It's over for you for me.
Dang.
Um,
So even the Drake cosign don't do it for you.
I'm it's with Koi. She can redeem herself. You know,
Hmm.
she's got good music. So it's like I'm not like really hating on her music. It's just I don't like that. I felt like she was hating on Rico. Um, and they
Who else could give a cosign at Drake's level? You think? Like, is it just Drake, or
Kendrick.
you think that's equivalent to a Drake cosign?
Because I think that people Drake fans care less about a Drake cosign, even though Drake's cosign might get out to more people. I think if Kendrick cosigns someone, Kendrick fans are gonna be like, damn, I must need to check this person out.
Kind of, but don't you think about like Baby Keem? Like, wouldn't he have a greater exposure based on that, or no?
I feel like Kendrick, like
Like, it's
he's
a
like I feel like Kendrick hasn't really totally brought. Like I feel like when Kendrick drops a song with Baby Keem, that'll be different. But like I feel like I don't know.
like it's not necessarily
Like
a cosign because they
Coil
are
Ray
related. So
like I like what because it's kind of similar to what Jake says. Cosigns don't matter if you don't have anything going for yourself. Not that Baby Keem doesn't have anything going for himself at all. Like he has a lot going for him. But
mhm,
Coil Ray was already popping. Like Nolan said, Coil Ray was already popping when Drake cosigned.
right.
You know what I mean?
Baby
Baby Keem,
Keem feel like he went on pause for the pandemic. Like,
well, yeah, and he just dropped a dope song, but he uh he has never been popping like
right.
Coi Ray was when Drake co-signed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if like Kendrick were to co-sign say Baby Keem were to drop a big album and were to somehow get towards the popularity of Coi Ray, and then Kendrick were to talk about Baby Keem, it might be a little different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's also like just Coi Ray is a very like a pop artist. You know what I mean? Like Baby Keem, I see him as more of like an alternative.
Hmm.
Uh, um, and I think that matters
Right.
uh, in terms of cosigns for sure. Um, and I think sometimes it's good, like with Denzel Curry. I think Denzel Curry co-signing a pop artist probably won't do much for a pop artist, but
Right.
Denzel Curry like promoting or co-signing like someone who can spit or someone who's really doing like something similar to him, Broward County type rap, fucking shit. Like they'll fucking eat it up, dude. And
Right.
I've seen it happen. Um, it's it's all situational. I feel like.
For
Um,
sure.
but I agree. Cosigns can be very like you can pay for a cosign, and it will not really do anything for you if you don't have a like already some type of traction going
Yeah,
on.
something going on with it. That definitely I would agree with. Nolan said Jay Z. Jay Z is definitely up there in that upper echelon, especially in the hip hop scene of things for sure. Him, Kanye, Drake, Cuddy, Cole. They all or not Cuddy. I don't even know who I was trying to say there, but Kendrick and Cole. So
Kendrick, Cole.
and there's a lot like you said tiers to it when you get down to like guys like ASAP Rocky and it's like when it feels like if someone
Even Young
leads a group, yeah, Young
use
Thug,
time language too. I mean, some of those artists I don't know about them, but some of them, like some of those songs were artists I hadn't heard of, and they were fire.
right?
Uh, so I think Young Thug is still kind of like younger, than some of the guys we're mentioning that are really really co-signing and putting artists on, or at least younger to the industry. So I think as time goes on, he'll really might figure out a real niche and like cut like
It's fun watching that happen, right? Like with some of those guys, because it doesn't. It almost feel like it doesn't hit as quick as it did like 5 or 10 years ago when Kanye and them were co-signing guys. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I forget about like really he like Lil Baby and Gunna like really kind of got on because of Young Thug.
True.
And Drake too, but like originally it was Young Thug. So I'm even thinking about these newer artists, but honestly, even before that, Young Thug really has put on some pretty huge artists. I mean, Young Thug was paying for Lil Baby's studio time before he was famous. Like I think that type of shit is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's cool to see, for sure. Kind of I guess related to that scene and got artists like Young Thug. Let's talk about Migos and their rollout for Culture 3. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff they've been doing.
They should probably shut up.
You don't care? You're not excited about it?
I'm not. They need to shut the hell up for a little bit.
Why?
They need to just be quiet. Quavo's under fire. Offset's under fire. I think people just don't want to hear from Migos right now. I think Migos
maybe that's why they're trying to roll it out to get themselves.
I think Migos thinks they need to do something. And maybe that's the view of some people, but for me, it's like similar to Tory Lanez, bro. It's like grasping for straws here. It's like, okay, I just took a big hit from some strong women, and now I'm gonna come back with some fire, and I'm gonna talk about thoughts on this album and how I got done wrong, and it's just not gonna work. It's not.
We'll see it. Nothing will top the first Culture. I probably agree with that. That's kind of been a struggle for them too, trying to overcome just the feeling people had for that first one, and then reproduce. That's what happens with series sometimes, I think.
Yeah, that first Culture album is unbeatable. Culture 2 was disgustingly bad.
I like the rollout they got going, but as you bring it up, because I'm not as in tune with all that drama they had going on, but I do know about it as you bring it back up. Like, they are both under fire. Both got some shit going on.
I haven't really seen the rollout, so it could be a cool rollout.
No, it's not. It's quiet. It's slow. You know what I mean? But that's what I appreciate from it, and kind of why I brought it up was like artists locally can take some stuff from this because they just announced it first, like just a brief announcement, Culture 3 coming. Then they just released like a short clip on the Instagram of them like in the studio, behind the scenes type of shit. And that type of small stuff you can do where you're planning to release your project over probably a month and a half, 2-3 months with how they're rolling this out, as opposed to the way some artists do where they finish it up and are like, all right, I'm dropping in 2 weeks and don't give it any time. So yeah. I like that they're doing a rollout. They're building up anticipation for it.
No, I think that's smart, and
likely to get heat off of themselves.
Yeah, regardless of the drama, if it's a good rollout, it's a good rollout. Like that's just can be objective. I just think the timing couldn't really be much worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think if they just sat back for a little bit, worked on some other stuff, made music, and just didn't really roll out for a couple months and just let other people kind of get their shine and let people forget about the fact that Quavo and Saweetie were like in an altercation like a week ago.
I mean, I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, I'm not as into.
I think that enough people will not forget.
If they drop a track with Drake, if they drop a single with Drake,
doesn't matter.
Will forget.
No. Doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Enough people have songs with Drake now that just because they have enough songs with Drake that it's not gonna. It doesn't.
If it's a slapper, bro. If it's a slapper.
It's a slapper. It's a slapper. But they haven't really been dropping a whole lot of slappers.
I agree with that 1,000%.
I don't really. I mean, I think their style's a little played out.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know about all that, but it could be. We'll have to see if they can create some longevity and evolve it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted that 3 years ago, my boy. Too late for me.
We'll see. I feel like you'll be changing your tune. Watch, you're gonna be the one in the summer where you're like, "Damn, this Migos 3 or this Culture 3, this is exactly what I wanted. What I wanted 3 years ago."
I almost want to bet money that won't be the case.
Nah.
because I have no faith in them anymore, bro. Because I just feel like they have gone
They're
down the
still
drain.
relevant though, like you know
Like
what I mean? They're
like
still massively
someone
relevant.
that I think that is pretty shitty right now that could turn it around and not okay like commercially not even comparable to Migos. He's way bigger than them. He's not doing bad. He's almost at the peak of his career. But musically, I think he's making terrible music. Travis Scott, I think he could totally start making good music again. I think he totally has it in him.
I'm excited. Well, and he's kind of started his rollout too the same way, where it's like
Yeah,
not an official rollout, but slowly but surely we're getting the idea of that one. That's
yeah.
one
I'm
I'm.
excited.
Yeah, I would say I'm.
I'm
In,
excited.
well, he has all these releases of merchandise and shit that is like limited quality, but partnered with so many different places that it like really makes you interested in what's going on. Like, and it's none of it's been music related for like a year and a half. That when he drops something music related, because he's been such a focal point in just everything essentially, like people are gonna tune in. So
I honestly want to hear him go back to the roots a little bit more into like what he was doing with some of the first albums and mixtapes he was putting out, like Owl Pharaoh and even Birds in the Trap. Like I really like the vibes of some of that, and I don't mean that he needs to make those again, but I don't know. I just don't want the mindless uh, melodies that just have nothing, like just no substance to
I
them.
do, I do. I like all his new
I
music.
like melodies, bro, and you know me, I'm a melody guy, but like with Travis Scott, I'm tired of it, bro. It's like I get it. You have this same melody and tone on every fucking song now, and it's
You're
like
hating. You're just hating on Trav for no
oh, the
reason right
reason
now.
I got into him is because he was so creative and different from other people, and now I feel like
He's
he
got to be
got.
creative on merchandise and shit, dude. He can't do that with his music. He's got to recycle the old music. So
Oh my god.
that's how it goes now. You'll see. Last bit of topics that we have to discuss, and I've got a couple of tracks lined up for us to talk about as well. And this is just because we talked about it about a year ago. I thought it was interesting that Death Row has apparently been sold again. A year ago, they got purchased by Hasbro, the toy company. They purchased like a whole division of like it was called Entertainment One, but now Hasbro is selling the music part of that to an investing firm. I think this is just probably to get the Death Row records and all the other music away from being associated to a toy brand, and they're still going to manage it under the investing firm. But I mean, it's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even know like what to say about that. I mean, it's a it's it's hard to understand business moves like
Hmm.
when you're not
Well,
involved.
and this was like it was like a quarter of what they paid for the overall business, so they must not view the music side as valuable, or like I said, it's something where they're trying to transition it under just a different holding. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mainly brought it up to just like think it's interesting. It's interesting
Yeah,
that a toy company owned Death Row and now has sold Death Row to an investing firm. Like,
I
and
didn't even. That's so wild.
and investing firms are doing a lot where they're like we've heard a lot about artists selling their entire catalog and their rights to their music. That's where it's been going to is to like
Yeah,
three or four major investing firms that want to like hold up all this music. So
yeah.
who knows
Well,
what comes of that?
I'm sure you heard, and I know this isn't quite music related, but Conor McGregor sold Proper 12 for like 600 plus $1 million.
That's I did
Uh,
not hear that, but that's fucking insane and good for him.
yeah, that is like,
That's like a 3 year investment maybe. Like
yeah, I
maybe it
know,
took him that long to
I
flip it.
know.
So
I mean, like that's just insane. And like usually I'm the type of person where it's like keep it, like like keep
hmm
the benefits, but I
for
mean,
that much, right? Like
that much it's like, jeez, like how do you say no after
right.
3 years? If it was like a 10-year company, I would say nah, you got to get more out of that.
But such a short amount of time and so quick, and like
Yeah,
it happens so quick that people won't even recognize, you know what I mean? They'll still think and he might still have some involvement in it too, but they'll still think he owns it or whatever, so they'll keep
well, I think
supporting it like it's his brand. So as long as if he starts winning again in the UFC, that would change, but I don't see that happening. So
well, I don't know. Well, I still think he owns like a part of it. Like I don't think
hmm
he sold
the
all
whole
of
thing.
Proper 12. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he sold like a majority stake of it.
Well,
Uh,
they would be dumb for wanting. They would be dumb to want him to sell all of it, where they couldn't have him be a face of it. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
as long as he still has 5%, he'll still be the face of it and still talk for them. So, yeah, a lot of cool business related shit there. Let's play a couple of tracks and then we'll get out of here. I've got one. This one's from this is from Casper, but it's featuring AOHB. That's why I really wanted to play it. He just dropped a new, or Casper dropped a new project today, I believe, for his birthday. So this has more of a pop sound to it, I think. But this is really, I like AOHB's verse on it too. So we'll jump right into that and see what you think, Sheridan.
Work.
Give me just a second. There we go.
JK, really?
Try your old. What you cooking?
Red lip gloss in a Louis bag. Oh my god, she bougie bad. Shades in her face with the Gucci glass. Fresh off the plane with no jet lag, yeah. Whoa, all designer clothes. From the way you're moving, girl, you're putting on a show. Let's go. That ready on feet, that Louis BT, you always rocking. That Benz you whip around town, got them always watching. Them chains up on your neck, got people always stopping. I swear you always in the store buying and copping. You'd maybe want me if I was a brand name. You only love yourself and that's a damn shame. You need to get a grip and start taking some blame. I swear you never care if it ain't money or fame. I need your love.
JK, really?
Try your old. What you cooking?
Red lip gloss in a Louis bag. Oh my god, she bougie bad. Shades in her face with the Gucci glass. Fresh off the plane with no jet lag, yeah. Whoa, all designer clothes. From the way you're moving, girl, you putting on a show. Let's go.
My bitch bougie bad, no one topping this shit. Little roadhead, shorty mad optimistic. Independent like I'm copping this. Just spend a mad time with me, not a problem with it. Bad and bougie, breaking up some scene whenever he acts a movie. Never planned to stay, but the fact is you be catching me off guard. Now we active duty, yeah. I know you like Louis, but I'm feeling champion. Nike when checking you out, do that dance again. All burn the flex, I got taste, plus you bad as shit. We always lit like the top of an ambulance. Ride or die with me, feet up on the dash and shit. Mario Kart and she peach cause the rats is big. We ain't no accident, I call her Nash cause for me she passing
Red
it.
lip gloss in a Louis bag. Oh my god, she bougie bad. Shades in her face with the Gucci glass. Fresh off the plane with no jet lag, yeah. Whoa, all designer clothes. From the way you're moving, girl, you're putting on a show.
So that's Bougie Bad by Casper featuring AOHB. What'd you think of that? Yeah? Mm-hmm. I like to see that though, you know what I mean? Especially I would like to see more artists doing shit like that.
Get a lot better as he does it. And not that this was bad. This was dope. I thought he did a really good job. I just think he'll start to feel more comfortable with it. Find that he doesn't always have to go quite so fast on a song like this. He can kind of slow it down a little bit. I was impressed for sure. I think in general, I agree with you. This is something that he should continue to do. Obviously he's always gonna, what he loves is that the old school boom bap stuff, and that's what he should stay true to, if that's what he wants to do. But I think,
But this can expose him to so many more.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And this is the thing I try to explain to people is like, no one's gonna listen to you do that if you don't get anyone to listen to you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like making that type of pop music that everyone likes to listen to, they're like, okay, this dude's dope. And then, like, maybe they'll go listen to your other stuff and they'll be like, damn, I don't usually listen to this type of shit, but I really like this guy. And actually, I really like that he does this as well. So then that's how you get those extra fans, is by jumping into those other lanes. And I know that he can get good at that lane. So it's just a matter of practicing it more, I think.
Yeah, and like I said, I would love to just see more upstate artists trying different things, like go in a different lane, see what happens. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're not hitting fans in one sound, but you can hit fans in a different sound, or just try and do something that's just going to be different. And like this could potentially not only get different fans listening to him, but it could also get different artists wanting to work with him, right? Like it could encourage a more pop heavy artist to be like, I would really like to get a kid like that who could spit over that type of sound and get out of his box, or get out of his regular realm. So I think that opening the door for yourself there is a lot. So that's why I wanted to play it. When I seen him post it, I was like, all right, let me check this out. And I listened to the track. I was like, this is going to be more pop heavy within the first couple seconds, but
pop artists love rappers because we all want to be rappers. We wish we were rappers. So
well, and it just adds such an exciting element to the track, right? Like it makes it two different songs almost because of what you've got going on. So yeah, I was excited to check that out. I think both guys did a great job, and that makes me more encouraged to check out Casper's entire project. I honestly might not have without this AOHB feature, but because I have such high regard for AOHB's music to this point, I wanted to hear what this would sound like, and I wasn't disappointed at all. So I would love to see him.
That book got me interested to hear what he's got for the rest, for sure.
I want to see him do some stuff with like just other pop-ish artists, right? Like AOHB and Saint Kid. I don't know what that would sound like. I don't know if it would be good or bad, but who knows? You know what I mean? Especially just some of Saint's production and stuff. So that's something I would like to see. Just and more artists, like I said, just hit up some of these pop artists and throw them a verse or something, man. See what happens. It could change a lot, you know. So this next track is from actually another pop artist. I figure it's just me and Sheridan. It makes the most sense to get this shit out of the way so Ant don't got to deal with it. I got the new Sig Roy song I talked about earlier. These Dreams Are Lucid. I haven't heard it but like 10 seconds of this, so it could be horrible. I think it'll be alright though. Let's get it.
Some things from I've been around, but I don't know exactly how you do it now. If I go, there ain't no coming back around. The time slowed, I never got to break it down. Take things I say and switch them all around, 'cause you don't hear me. Here's how we make it sound. So I think I sleep right here on the couch, just hiding from my dreams. Wake me up, these dreams aren't lucid. I need some help, 'cause I can't do this, I'm lost. Don't tell me girls are stupid, can't take this anymore. I don't know if this feels right, but I need you now, and I can't fight it. I lost myself, and all this time I can't run from it. And now wake me up, these dreams aren't lucid. I need some help, 'cause I can't do this, I'm lost. Don't tell me girls are stupid, can't take this anymore. I don't know if this feels right, but I need you now, and I can't fight it. I lost myself, and all this time I can't run from it. And now marijuana, just take it in the morning or night. I know most times I've never been around, yeah. You out all night, it's confusing, till I seen the fangs that you grew in, pulling me all around, girl. What you see in me, if I'm holding you down, then why I'm trying to breathe, you're so innocent. Till you get your fix, you don't make it easy. I can't hold it down, but I need her. Find me someone else who can read her. Know we did some things we can't speak of. I just need you to wake me up when it's wake me up. These dreams aren't lucid. I need some help, 'cause I can't do this, I'm lost. Don't tell me girls are stupid, can't take this anymore. Wake me up, these dreams aren't lucid. I need some help, 'cause I can't do this, I'm lost. Don't tell me girls are stupid, can't take this anymore. I don't know if this feels right, but I need you now, and I can't fight it. I lost myself, and all this time I can't run from it. And now wake me up, these dreams aren't lucid. I need some help, cause I can't do this, I'm lost. Don't tell me girls are stupid, can't take this anymore.
So that was Sig Roy. These dreams aren't lucid. Jake, seeming like that. What do you think of that, Sheridan?
I thought that was dope. At first, I thought it was dope and it wasn't really my vibe. But then as it got in, I really started to like it. It was something I would go back and listen to again. Something that like I already knew I liked Sig Roy's music, so it wasn't really a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Just something I'm excited. You know, he's continued to succeed in the area. He's definitely one of the most listened to artists around. I kind of wish he would get like a little more involved in the scene.
Right. And I don't even know like if that's probably by choice type of thing. Like he might feel like he's a little bit bigger than the scene at this point because he's got a couple of tracks that have over 1 million on Spotify and whatnot. But I think he's someone who could really benefit from it. I personally
I think he would too. I think he would too, and I think people don't like. I think sometimes people at that level don't realize. I think it's having a local push is important, especially like if he does eclipse that level to a point where he is really famous, and people are like, oh, like where are you from? Like, it's like, oh, I'm from here. It's like, does anyone rock with you? It's like.
I mean, like you said, he definitely has some support in Syracuse, but it would just be, I think it would be smart for him because he is so good, but how do you get more people to hear that you're so good? Well, do features with other people or work with other people or just do stuff to get your face out there with what's going on in your local scene can kind of go a ways.
Like what, like 70,000 monthly listeners or something? He could make that 100,000 pretty consistently if he just got around to everyone around upstate. People knew him,
right, and got more people to know him because once you tell him, he's like very similar to Jake, and that's why it makes sense for those two to connect would be great because he's similar in the sense like he's got stuff going but when you show him to people who might not know him, you're like, oh, this is radio ready, this is really good. That's
what I just don't get is like Jake is like yeah, Sig Roy's doing well, but Jake's on like I would say Jake's even probably on another level than Sig Roy at this point.
I would agree, but I think that Sig Roy would probably think the opposite.
Well, yeah, because Sig Roy doesn't know what he's talking about.
I mean, I don't know.
But that's just a big head type of thing. Is I mean, I can think whatever I want about how good I am or how much better I am than whoever. It doesn't matter because I don't have any type of numbers or whatever to show that. So I'm not going to say, hey,
he's got some numbers.
I'm the king of upstate right now when there are plenty of people who have so many more accomplishments and milestones. Whether I think that I might make better music than someone who has a bigger milestone than me or who has done more, that doesn't really matter because I don't really have anything to show for it.
And that's almost the trouble of like your first track or two blowing up real quick, right? Like you don't really know exactly how to maneuver and how to handle shit because you already started out at this weird level of like maybe not famous, but locally people have given you a lot of credit or a lot of people really like your song. So how do you expand locally and do stuff in a way that makes sense? I've reached out to him a couple times. Every time I've spoken with him has been pretty like simple and cool. Like he's not been a dickhead at all, but it's also been pretty hard to get anything set up in terms of like let's just do an interview or let's do something. Like he's always been pretty cool, but in terms of like getting people to work together and stuff, I definitely agree with what you're saying because I've tried to do stuff where we could incorporate him or I could incorporate him in what's going on in Upstate Aesthetic, and it just didn't click. So
I mean, regardless of what I think, he's making fire music.
Oh yeah,
It's like at the end of the day, his quality speaks for itself. It's just what I think would be helpful to not only him but like just the community in general.
Yeah, it would help.
Yeah, just help everybody. I feel like it's a win-win situation to get more involved, and I just don't understand when people don't. But that people are gonna take their own path. Maybe he feels like
he might not just even know how or where to get.
But also, you know what I mean? Maybe he feels like there was a certain part of the community that left him out at some point, and now he feels a little bitter about it. And I can understand that if he didn't totally see kind of the uprising that we had over the last couple of years of just like local artists coming together, and
I don't think it's been that way in Syracuse as much. You know what I mean? It's been very hard for me to connect with a lot of the Syracuse guys, and that's because like it has seen like real buzz come out of it. I feel like so those guys who are in Syracuse are either very much trying to protect their buzz and not trying to give it to anyone else, and the other guys are really trying hard to fight for that buzz, so they're not trying to work with anybody else.
Upstate is weird, man, because we like have our side of things that we're like we've connected our whole side of like the upstate community, but there's like a whole other side where I mean I see Rochester and Syracuse people like I see Rochester people being like fuck Scory, he's a op, like blah blah blah. I'm just like seeing all these Syracuse people and like what you going to do about it? Like I'm like Jesus.
And I think that shit is deeper than rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just like, but I know it is deeper than rap, but it's at the same time, it's just like, why are we
Seeing Scory's Facebook feed sometimes, I'm like, dog. It's mad entertaining sometimes, but I'm like,
it's
dog.
entertaining, but for me, it's just like I don't understand the like just need to be in like constant
And from that
a
perspective,
constant battle.
and from that perspective, right? Like I understand Scory not being as in tune with the local community, right? Because his
He is though. He reps Syracuse and he does a good job.
I'm just talking about in terms of like maybe working with some of the artists that are, and then again, I don't when you're signed by fucking Polo G and on the
that's
rise.
like, that's a little different. I feel like
Mhm.
I feel like
Well, and again, his experience with Upstate isn't that great. You know what I mean?
Story, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of like monthly listeners, like or whatever comparison that
True
that is, Scory is known on like more of a national level. Like I could find people out here like if I really like talk to some hip hop heads that are really into the like scene right now that would know who Scory is. I could ask 1,000 people around here who Sig Roy is and know.
That's a great point too. But yeah, I mean, and to that extent too, Scory has still done a little bit more from what I've seen, and I don't know everything Sig Roy's done, but he's done a fair amount more for the local area in Syracuse for sure. So Scory's been awesome to watch. I hope we get to see a continued rise for him and what he's got going on. It's just been interesting to watch his social feed sometimes because of the shit that goes on, and then it's swiftly deleted. So you got to be there, or you never see it. So
That's usually how it goes.
Yep. But that's it. That's what we got. We had some Sig Roy, we had some Casper and AOHB. Been a bit of a different episode without Ant. We should be back next week, so should be interesting. How you want to wrap up, Sheridan?
I think I'm gonna save some announcements for next week. Honestly,
That's a good idea.
But other than that, tune in next week. I'll probably have some serious stuff to tell you guys. I've been really excited. It's been a long time, and I say it every week. But next week, for real, I'm gonna let it fly. I just think it would be more appropriate with Anthony here and just a regular episode to
I feel that.
Let it go.
Dude, next week could be interesting too. My uncle's gonna be in town. He could pop up at any moment. He's just gonna come in with some of his Republican Mexican bullshit and get all interesting. So it could be a fun episode. But
Need it.
I'm
Get an
right.
extra chair, sit him down.
That's a fact.
talk.
But I'm excited for next week. I've got a whole bunch of shit going on with college and stuff, so I'm down with it. So we'll be back next week. If you got tracks, make sure you send them to us. We'll post the email. I'll post the email probably tomorrow. That way we can get an actual like schedule set up, get stuff going a little bit more smoothly. This has been quite the thrown together episode, but we made it work. So it is what it is.
Sure. I think we had good content. We
sure.
had good content.
We had some interesting stuff that we talked about for sure. So I'm gonna play like 30 seconds of Killer, get us out of here. And we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Who am I? When I look in the mirror, there's you and I. Crown on your head like you were crucified. But I can't kill you with no suicide. Sister suicide. Kill my vibe.